Well,
I threw that in.
Many people believe, and I do too, that the Rothschilds have the ultimate power. Lord Jacob Rothschild may well be the most powerful man in the world. He's over in England, Buckinghamshire, England. I exposed the fact that Arnold Schwarzenegger traveled with Warren Buffett, his so-called financial advisor, one of the richest men in the world, to Waddesdon Manor, the estate, the luxurious estate of Lord Jacob Rothschild in England. And I believe that Schwarzenegger had to be approved to run for governor of California. And they evidently have some some chores and missions for Schwarzenegger to do. Of course, we now know, Schwarzenegger has not only, he and the elite of California have not only pushed this homosexual gay marriage, but now they're knocking out homeschooling. They're requiring that terms like mom and dad be taken out of the school textbooks. None of these things are by accident. I think they're all planned. Right. They're promoting an agenda, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, who, by the way, was on the cover of a gay magazine, totally nude.
Whoa.
Can you imagine a frontal shot, totally nude, giving a Nazi salute, and later he becomes governor of California? How did that happen? I'm talking about a frontal shot, totally nude, on a gay magazine.
Sounds right for California.
But yeah, besides raping women,
whoa.
I'm not talking about groping them. I'm talking about beating them up, assaulting women, beating them physically with his fist, holding them down, and raping them. Schwarzenegger has done those things before, and he's governor. But this just shows you the depraved state that we're in. Of course, here in Austin, Texas, George W. Bush stripped naked, drunk on cocaine, and danced on the top of coffee tables at parties before he became governor.
Wow.
The man never had a job a day in his life. He was given 1% interest in a Texas baseball team and claimed he was a baseball executive.
All right, let's get Larry. Larry, you got a question for Tex?
Well, on the Illuminati issue, I was kind of wondering, where did the Chinese come to play in this? Because I was reading online today about the Illuminati supposedly wants to reduce the Asian population to 500 million by a race-targeted biological weapon, according to this website I was on earlier today. And I was just kind of wondering how the Chinese fit in this realm. We always talk about the Muslims and the Jewish nation and so forth, and I was kind of wondering if you can elaborate on the Chinese.
If you look back in history to the history of the 20th century, and you look at China, you find that Mao Zedong was promoted by the Jewish Zionist communist revolutionaries, and he was placed in power in China, and he was favored over Chiang Kai-shek, the nationalist, who was would be more American constitutional type of guy. Chiang Kai-shek was forced out, to Formosa, to Taiwan. And so Mao Zedong had connections with these Jewish Zionists. And China, over the years, since Mao Zedong took power, in the days after World War II, and we favored him. Truman was president, and with Marshall as his top military advisor, they made sure Truman was a 33rd degree Mason, and he was controlled by Zionists, and they made sure that Mao Zedong won against Chiang Kai-shek. So what you have then is an Illuminist Mao Zedong, and since that time, an Illuminist has always been in charge of the Chinese government. And that government was closed on purpose so that they could destroy anybody of a Christian nature, anyone who believed in the kind of freedom and liberty that Americans would believe in. And so they had a cleansing, an ethnic cleansing, you might say, of the nation by the communists. And then it was opened up under Nixon. For example, the nation of Israel has long had a very close relationship, and Jews from Israel fly back and forth and have shared over the years U.S. military secrets with China. So a lot of this is pure baloney. China has always been part of the Illuminati system.
Yeah.
Now, there's always the fear, even on the part of the Illuminati, that the Chinese may divert and go their own path. Because there have been some nations, Stalin, for example, in his last days, he decided to divorce himself from the Zionists that ran Russia, and there was an internal war there inside the Soviet Union. So there's a lot of little known facts of history that people don't understand, but you have to realize the Illuminists do control China. Many of these things are pure nonsense. That China has a vast power, that they will be an enemy of America.
Let me chime in here, because I've got something here on the live chat. Somebody writes that both Nagasaki and Hiroshima may have been the most Christian populated cities in Japan. Do you know anything about that?
I've heard that before. Of course, these are the two cities that were hit with the first nuclear bombs.
Right.
Let me say this. This will be shock to people. The nuclear bomb project was a Zionist project. It was the brainchild of the most powerful Illuminist in the world who lived in New York City, and that's why they call it the Manhattan Project. You may wonder why they call it the Manhattan Project, but the nuclear bombs were developed in Alamogordo, New Mexico. Why would they call it Manhattan Project? Little known secret there. By the way, they tested the first nuclear bomb at a place called the Trinity site because these revolutionaries believed in the Trinity of Hindu and ancient mystery religion deities. J. Robert Oppenheimer, who's been called the father of the atomic bomb, was a Satanist.
Whoa.
He was a Satanist, and the first nuclear bomb developed, they call the little boy. The little boy. And they believed that in exploding this bomb, it might actually cause the Antichrist to be given the power to come forth on the earth. Of course, all this is total baloney and silly. I'm just telling you what they believe. Oppenheimer, by the way, right shortly after that, lost his security clearance because the physicist who was a patriot, Edward Teller, exposed him as a communist spy. He was the Russian communist spy, but he led our nuclear bomb project. So I don't have any doubt at all that the two cities chosen in Japan, and by the way, there was no reason at all for us to attack Japan. They were ready to surrender. They had already been decimated with firebombing by the U.S. Air Force. Doolittle and the other generals had totally demolished many Japanese cities. So this was just pure human sacrifice.
Wow. All right. Hey, let's go back to Larry. Larry, you got a question for Tex?
Well, I just was wondering, I'm back on the Chinese. From what I'm reading and this afternoon, you said the Illuminati has been in control of the Chinese government for some time. Do you know or have any knowledge of the Chinese developing their own little organization that has now put the Illuminati on notice that they will not stand for any more interference in their affairs?
I don't believe that at all.
Okay.
I don't believe. You dig beneath the surface, you find people like Neil Bush, the brother of George, is over there building golf courses and country clubs. He's a very rich man. So the American industrialist, the military-industrial complex that Eisenhower warned about in his farewell address, is alive and well in Red China. So no, I think there are friends, they're capitalists, communists, which seems to be an oxymoron, but there it is.
All right.
No, I don't think they're our enemy at all. I don't think they're going to attack America.
All right.
They're part of the Illuminati network.
All right. Tex, my good friend Doug Ewell wants to know, and I guess he caught me with my Starbucks cup. He wants to know about that logo on the Starbucks cup. He asks, is that the same as Biscay Neptunus, or